All right, Coach, we'll start with Johnny with the first question.
All right, Johnny.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Recording in progress.
Doing great.
I want to just ask about like the offensive performance overall, because this is like for a full offensive performance, it's definitely one of your best you've had all season. So is it something you saw in practice kind of developing coming into today, or was it, just the shots were falling today?
Well, the game the other day was not typical of Temple offense. And so, they got in the gym. We've been here all week. They got in the gym. They worked on their shots, and I can kind of tell it was going to be one of those days.
And I wanted to ask about T-Mac and Tristan Taylor. I mean, both of them were very crucial, especially from three-point range. I mean, they couldn't really miss. So what did you see from them overall?
Just the confidence factor. We knew this was going to be a tough game coming in. I knew that she would probably, based on last game, play us in a zone, which she did. And our ladies shot the lights out. I mean, T-Mac was 5 for 5 from 3, and Tristan was 4 for 4 from 3. So that's a nice percentage.
And I wanted to ask about Demi too, because I know she took that knee towards the end of the third quarter of last game. So do you have an update on her?
Yeah, she's sore today. So I know I promised you she would be back, but she's sore and she's getting old. And you know how when we get old, we get sore. It hits you the next day. And so we decided to let her sit for a little bit.
And I want to ask about Aaliyah too. I know she took a hard fall. It looked like she hit her lower back there. I know she came back in, but how's she feeling?
Yeah, again, we've got to give her some heat and some stem, and she'll be bouncing back. That's why I call her Bean. She's going to bounce back up.
And I wanted to ask about this upcoming Tulsa game. There's a ton of promotions that are going to be for that game. What does that mean, like, for you with the amount of promotions and the stuff that's going to be there at that game?
Well, I'm really pleased that marketing decided to put out a lot of promotions. I mean, we've been doing a good job this year with wins. We need people in the stands, and we want to share that with our fans because we like to play for them. And hopefully we can get some people in the stands. We can get some yeah-yeahs going, and we can keep this thing going.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hayden?
Hey, Coach. How you doing?
Hey, Hayden.
Hey. No suit, no. Just wanted to ask, I know you kind of talked about Aaliyah a little bit, but what did you just see from her today shooting-wise? I know it wasn't her best performance.
Yeah, she got banged a couple times today. And, I know when you're sore like that and, you're banged up, your shot's probably going to be off. Hers was off today. And I think that some of that had something to do with it because she got hit early.
And then I know you kind of talked about being in Texas. But how big is it for you guys to go on the road and sweep the 2 games that you guys had down there?
Well, it's good. Again, you all know I take one game at a time. But Ray Dunn at breakfast this morning told me that we were 5-2 on the road. So I was like, oh, okay, then let's go ahead and get 2 more. So, I'm glad they played well. I'm glad we're ending it with a 2-0.
And you talked about last game how you guys feel like, or you said that you guys weren't getting off the hot start. Say you come out 6-0 and then you guys end up winning the first quarter by 10. How big was that for you guys?
Yeah, that's huge. And, that's our goal. We've got to start out, we got to start out tough early so that we're not digging a hole. Early in the season, that was our nemesis. We would start slow and then have to dig our way out of a hole. This makes it easier for us.
And then with that upcoming Tulsa game, Caranda's coming back. Any emotions with that as well?
We're taking one game at a time. And if Caranda's playing in it, then we're going to play her.
Thank you, Coach.
Uh-huh.
Zach?
Hey, Zach.
Hey, Coach. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. So I kind of wanted to ask you about Rain Tucker, where she had a game versus UAB where she puts up a double-double, and then the next 2 games she really struggles. She scores no points and then 4 points, but then comes in today with another double-double. Can you just kind of talk about her being able to stay poised and not getting too up and down with different things that happened throughout the season?
Yeah, well, we knew that they had 2 bigs today that she would definitely have to guard. I mean, number 14, I believe, and 35. So she was getting her head right for this game because we knew they would go inside with them with such girth and, taking up space. And she performed today and, rebounded really, really well. So we'll take those games.
And then you kind of touched on the first quarter a little bit. The first quarter and third quarter, your team shot really well. Shot over 50% in both of those quarters. Second quarter and fourth quarter kind of went off a little bit. Can you talk about just trying to being able to stay consistent throughout all four quarters? I know obviously it's hard when you're shooting that well in the first and the third to kind of mirror that. But can you talk about just trying to stay consistent throughout?
Well, we try to win every quarter, and that's our goal, to win every quarter. And, I looked at the second quarter, we tied in the second quarter and knew we had to step up in the third quarter, and they did that. And then the fourth quarter, of course, Rice is a well-coached team with Lindsay Edmonds, and they knew that they had to be more aggressive. And they were aggressive defensively and just kind of stifled us a little bit.
And then just one more question for you. I feel like with this team, it's just a very a naturally happy group. I feel like no matter what, like the wins or losses, you're going to see people smiling. But, of course, when you're in first place, you're now one game up in first place, 5 straight wins. I mean, I have to imagine that the smiles get a little bigger when the wins are starting to stack up like that. And you're seeing it with the promotions that are coming up with your next home game.
Yeah, and we're excited about that. We're going to have a happy plane ride home. And we kept saying, we've been here in Texas all week, and we kept saying, you'll be able to rest on the plane, but let's play right now.
Thank you.
Next question for Colin.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Colin?
Doing well, thank you. I wanted to touch on your quick start a little bit as well. I wanted to look at the defensive side of it, though. You guys forced the shot clock violation on Rice's first offensive possession. So how important was for you guys to set the tone defensively like that?
Yeah, we're trying to get that identity of defense, and that was indicative of what we plan to do defensively, just make sure we're locked down and playing team defense. And that first possession really showed us that we have the ability to play some lockdown team defense.
And then I wanted to ask you about Tiara. She scored 12 points, and she may not have shot the most efficiently, but she also crashed down and grabbed 10 rebounds today. Would you kind of see from her maybe changing her game from scoring into adjusting a little bit to what the team needed?
Yeah, at our last press conference, remember she said we always get on her for watching, because she will watch the rebounds. And so she's kind of stepped up her game now and crashing the boards and going to get rebounds.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach.
Go ahead, Max.
Hey, Coach. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I just wanted to ask about, I've been asking you a lot about you guys not being as much stressful games down the stretch of games. You're not having the buzzer beater needing the last shot. You guys are in a lot of back and forth games. This seems like you haven't been in those stressful games, closing out games lately. Can you talk about that consistently being good for you guys lately?
Yeah, we've been really cognizant of what we're doing defensively. And we know that we don't want to let it get close. And so they're trying to lock down our defense so that we don't get into those positions where we can't get stops and they score and, back and forth. We don't like to trade baskets. So we're intentional about getting stops.
And with Tristan, is this poise that you've seen from her from the beginning of the season, or she's kind of grown into this throughout the season?
Oh, we called her fearless freshman at the beginning of the season. And, we saw that today. We're in her home state too. So, I think she's pretty confident playing in Texas.
And my last question is, other than tournament play, this is one of your busier weeks of the season. You had 3 games this week and you won all 3. I guess, was that a good thing? Was it a bad thing? And, how important was that you guys played in such short period of time and got all those wins?
Yeah, well, we're going to see that at the tournament. So, to prepare for 3 games in a week, we've got to do that when we get to the tournament. So, we're not letting that be an excuse because we want to stay focused on each game.
Thank you.
Johnny with the follow-up.
I just wanted to ask, I know Aaliyah got that technical, right there at the end of the first half. What kind of happened there? Did she say something? They weren't really describing on the broadcast. So
I talked to the ref and she said, and one. And I said, he said, it was a great play, but she said, and one, and I talked to him, I said, the men do that all the time, and we've been trying to get that changed. And he said, yeah, I know. But it's a shame that we can't be demonstrative when we're excited, but the men do it all the time. So, and she went over and apologized to him.
Thank you. I think because they just didn't really explain that on the broadcast, so thank you for that.
I question everything. So, so that's what he said. Yeah, but he said we can't have that. Like,
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any more questions for Coach?
Ryan, you got a question for me? Nice and loud?
How you doing?
Go ahead, bud.
Yeah. So I just want to ask you about Inez. I know she struggled shooting today, but throughout the course of the season, she's been really focal point on the defense side of the ball and on the boards. And at the same time today, 8 rebounds, couple steals, and some blocks. What have you been able to see from her this season? And just today in the game.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ryan.
No, yeah, I was done. My bad.
Okay. Yeah, she defended well. So, we knew that we needed her defensively. She used her length defensively. Number one kept going at her. And we knew that if we could stop, we'd let her score. We could stop everybody else. And so she was integral when we started switching. And she played great defense. And she rebounded the ball. So.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Get home safe.
All right. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you back at the nest.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks so much.
Recording stopped.